Holy Brazilian tears. This is Season 2, Episode 30 of Flight Check. We're back with play-ins. Live reacting as I watch DFM taking down Brazil. Does this count as co-streaming if I show it on my phone right now? Am I about to get...
I don't think so. We're not showing like their content.
DMCA'd by Riot if I, here's DFM live beating Loud on my phone screen as it's happening.
We have to be found by them first, and then maybe.
It's true.
So if Riot finds us and DMCA's us, honestly, I consider that just major clout.
I think we're doing something right, if that's the case.
And I can't believe that we timed our podcast so perfectly.
We actually did. We're literally starting the show at the end of the series. This could not be better. Well, here we are.
So live reaction, guys.
Live reaction. Look, let's go. In and out. 20-minute podcast. And then 6 days later, we're going to be sobbing and crying and having just almost nearly died by having to watch play-ins. EG. They have snuck through. They have one best of 5 against Mad Lions, who took down the Saigon on a Buffalo. Have you guys ever seen the Guy on a Buffalo videos? Somebody reminded me of those the other day, and now every time I hear Saigon Buffalo, all I can think is Saigon on a Buffalo. And if you go watch if you guys go watch the Guy, just go to YouTube, hit Guy on a Buffalo in your search bar, and you will be educated as to what's being talked about on the show right now. Bit of an unhinged intro for me tonight.
Honestly,
I am very tired. You are getting mildly loopy Sandy tonight. But Nox and Curly are here as well to save my day and give me all their thoughts as we discuss play-ins, which have been kind of bangers so far, I would say. Curly, what's been your big interesting narrative out of play-ins? What's been the biggest thing for you?
I think for me, the two things that have been spiciest are DRX really proving themselves in spite of everyone being like, oh yeah, of the major regions in Group B, they might flop more because everyone thought they were probably going to be second place and then Mad was going to be third. Well, they came out 5-0. So I think that is very, very spicy with just how dominant they are. And it's also made me realize that in summer splits, I need to stop being so decisive in my claims, because every time I've been this is how it's going to be, this is why, 100% incorrect. 100% incorrect. And then another thing I've really enjoyed is actually with this DFM series we just saw is them pick themselves up, because at the start, personally, I wasn't feeling DFM at all. And then they won more games than I expected to, their win against EG to cause a tiebreaker. Wasn't expecting that. So lots of unexpected wins here from my preconceptions of play-ins, and I'm sure a lot of other people's, which is always very exciting when you see those upsets happen.
Totally. And Nox, you were just saying on the pre-show, and I would agree with what Curly was just saying, Loud looked really good in Game 1. Well, okay, hang on. It was a banger Game 1, but they still won, and I had good expectations for them. Game 2 didn't look all that great. Game 3, they should have won that game.
Should have. I don't know what happened there.
So,
you have Soul, you have Baron. There's no reason you should lose that.
Kind of disappointing on that end. What's been your big kind of narrative takeaway so far? I know what mine is, so you'd better not steal it. But
I think my big narrative takeaway is, honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I always knew that the PCS was kind of a one-team region, but usually their second seeds have always done well enough to make it into group stage, or at least put up relatively good performances to at least look like they deserve. this Beyond Gaming team, I was not convinced by anything, and so for me, it's crazy to see how far that region's like kind of dropped. In which it's kind of nice because I've been touting the narrative that the VCS has been more deserving of
absolutely,
that quote unquote fifth seed or fifth power ranking slot than the PCS has been.
Yeah,
and I think this has finally reinforced it, even if. Unfortunately, the Saigon Buffaloes did fall earlier today to the Mad Lions, but it was still a good series.
Right.
So I think that's kind of my most surprising narrative is that the PCS has fallen off more than I thought, even though I knew they had fallen off.
Well, I mean, you saw Saigon Buffalo. They actually got into, that best of 5. Beyond doesn't even make it to the best of 5s. I would say Saigon looked way better than Beyond did, ultimately, in groups, against probably tougher opponents, in MAD, DRX, and RNG. I fully expect GAM to look way better than the Flying Oysters. So
They should, but unfortunately, they also have tougher opponents.
They do have tougher opponents, but so we'll see how that ends up. For my part, the narrative, you guys already know, it's DRX, baby, 5-0 in Group B, running it. Boy, I love this team. It's Deft and the rookies. What a combo! Mm-hmm. It's Deft and the young guns, and I absolutely love everything about this roster. Well, not everything, but I love a lot of aspects of this roster. And I'm really excited to see them in group stage in a couple weeks. Or actually this week, and then get to see them live in a couple weeks. So that'll be fantastic. But we will get into kind of talking more just about... we're going to hit Group B first. I know it says Group A, but now I've changed it to Group B. We're going to hit Group B because it's the non-NA group. But so let's go over it. Group B, so it ends up finishing from the top: DRX, RNG, MAD, Saigon, Isurus, and Wildcats. And why don't we just tackle it from the bottom up? So Istanbul and Isurus, kind of like I forget what coach it was. Was it Jim Mora? Who goes, they are who we thought they were? Is that the coach I'm thinking of? Hunter Talkpod's in the chat. He would know. But whatever.
I know the quote. I just don't know who says it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're referencing.
They are who we thought they were. That's what I'm thinking of when it comes to Dennis Green. Thank you. That is who I'm thinking of. That quote. Great press conference. Go look that one up. But 100 Talk Cats. Istanbul Wildcats.
Wow.
Really, really bad. 0-5. Turkey as a region just has really declined in recent international performances.
I think this is the weakest I've ever seen TCLB.
Yeah, I think they're struggling for sure. Isurus, it was nice to see them get the one win in front of the home crowd over Istanbul. Pretty sick. So was happy for them. But not really a lot to talk about here. These regions, ultimately they got put up against some really tough ones. And, we didn't really expect them to do much. And they kind of provided cakewalk dubs for everybody else in this, in this setup. So tough scene for sure. Interestingly enough, if you take away the one win that everybody got against these two teams, it winds up with like DRX 3-0, RNG 2-1, Mad Lions 1-2, and Saigon 0-3, which I think gives you like an idea, maybe a bit more of like the relative strengths in this group. Like Saigon literally did not get a single win against the three stronger teams. Mad Lions only beat Saigon Buffalo. Actually, no, hang on. Is that correct?
No, you're right.
Yeah, Mad Lions only beat Saigon Buffalo. And RNG only lost to DRX. So, pretty clear hierarchy here. Do you guys have any thoughts on this group? I mean, for me, again, like I said just a moment ago, the big narrative is DRX, probably the surprise in the 5-0. RNG looked pretty strong in the rest of their games. They didn't look like they were struggling or anything, so no LNG or LGD in groups in play-ins. But I mean, basically this group, except for the DRX RNG swap, everything kind of went to chalk, in my opinion.
Yeah, Group B for
I would
me.
agree.
I was surprised because like coming into this, I thought Group B going to be the spicy one where the most chaos can happen, where you have LCK and China in together, and then Mad Lions maybe they might step it up because they're good at best of ones, and then Saigon Buffalo always an agent of chaos. And no, it was just such a neatly ordered. Like there was no tiebreakers, and by the end of it, everything panned out as expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Group B was exact. I mean, granted, I thought RNG would take it, but again, it's a best of one at the end of the day, and I think both Royal Never Give Up and DRX both know it's like we could probably experiment against each other right here, right now, and it's like kind of fine. It doesn't really matter. We're both getting into the group stage, right?
Yeah.
So I think RNG got a little spicy with their draft, and DRX was able to punish it, which good for them. They did it very well, and it was a banger of a game. But I think at the end of the day, both of them kind of knew it was like, all right, whatever, it doesn't matter. If anything, it kind of gives just RNG more reps on stage. So, yeah, Group B was exactly how I predicted it to go. Group A was a little more spicy and a lot more fun to watch, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Final thought on Group B that I want to ask you guys real quick. And a bit more of an informal show tonight, so I am going to pull from chat. Arkham saying Mad was a lot better than we should have expected. I want to know how you guys feel about that. Did Mad overperform for y'all's expectations? Kind of meet in the middle, underperform? How do you guys feel about that statement?
For me personally, I admittedly I have a huge soft spot for El Yoya and Niski. I always believe in them, and so honestly, like they performed as I expected, and I even had a little bit of hopium that they might be able to force a tiebreaker against DRX yesterday, but alas, that didn't happen. So, honestly, they're performing as expected for me.
Yeah, they were right where I expected them to be. Basically, whenever I made my quote unquote pick'ems, if like we did it like Riot does, where it's like, hey, where will they slot in this group? I would have had basically this exact setup. But I did give Saigon like the benefit of the doubt. I was like, there may be somewhere, but I still had Mad Lions slotted in that third. So it's exactly how it turned out, and I was very happy with the best of 5. It was fun to watch, but at the end of the day, Vietnam couldn't pull it out, and Mad Lions moves on to get us our very first North American versus EU best of 5 in over 3 years.
Perfect. And I think with that, we will move over to the Group A discussion, because this group, I would say, went a little bit differently, maybe than people expected. I think Loud, I recall last week when we talked, there had been a little bit of rumor that Loud was doing really well in scrims. Chiefs, massive underperformance, and I would say a big disappointment in this group. So for those who missed it all, from the top down, Fnatic automatically goes through. TBD on what group they'll be in group stage. EG is now going to play Mad, because Mad did beat Saigon Buffalo today. And then Loud and DFM just played just now. DFM taking that. And then Beyond Gaming for the PCS and Chiefs at the bottom. And yeah, Chiefs, this was supposed to be, an OS super team. And I expected a little bit more of a fight from them against maybe Brazil and DFM. So I was disappointed by Chiefs. How about you guys? How did you feel about Chiefs' performance this time around?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I bought into the Scrimbucks a little bit. I was like, there's a not that I had them like doing well, but I was like, there's a chance they make the best of 5s, and no, that quickly got shut down. So disappointing to say the least, especially after the past. Like you had Pentanet a couple years ago. You had I think it was Legacy who did pretty well until they ran into that Cloud9 team, which is super unfortunate. The past couple of years of OSH teams I thought were always overperforming, but I didn't think they'd drop off this hard when they finally got to like snap back to reality,
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. From me, I if you look at my pick'ems, I think I never predicted them to win once. So unfortunately, I did expect this flop from them. But something that makes me sad about it is because when you look at like the community around this region, from like the casters, the players, the fans, and everything about it, it really is unfortunate that this is how they're performing on the international stage, because I think it is probably one of the most tightly knit. Everyone loves each other and really loves their players. And no matter who they send, they are all together behind them. And then when you have to be met with this, it's just truly heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's echoes of the restructuring that they were forced to do a couple years ago, or if it's just that the players are able to get to the region are that below the skill level of other regions. It's hard to say, but I really want them to be able to come back next season and hopefully like have a chip on their shoulder, have something to prove, to be like, yo, we're not going to go to international tournaments and go 0 wins both times.
Yeah, totally. Beyond Gaming, we kind of touched on the PCS already a little bit, but PCS number 2, disappointing for sure for that region. Remains to be seen, I guess, the relative strength between them and Vietnam. That'll be interesting to watch, but I don't think most people had Beyond Gaming getting very far as it was, but I do think 5th place might have been an underperformance compared to expectations. I think most people would have had them in the best of 5s. Let's hit. Yeah, go ahead.
Brazil overperformed, which is good for them, honestly.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I have receipts somewhere. I did say that they were on the up and up. I did not think they were going to up and up this much, though. So, really, really proud of where this region's come from, where they've been. Because I basically had Loud fighting Beyond for like that 4th place slot.
Yep.
Yeah. I also think that it has a lot to do with Loud as an organization, because if you saw on the broadcast, they have a lot bigger like social media presence than FaZe, and they're one of the fastest growing.
They're a huge
they're
they literally
like
just won Valorant champs, you know, so
yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So I think like the reason they had such an overperformance, I think, is very closely tied to how the org run things, because they clearly know how to strive for success.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see Loud again on the international stage next year, I have an itching feeling that it's going to be way better than this year, and this year was already a lot. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Brazil in the future.
Oh, totally. And I think they're an entertaining region as it is. Speaking of Brazil, overperformance for them, but they do drop today to DFM, who will go on to play RNG, which we'll touch on in a minute. I liked what I saw from Loud. DFM, I think they played at a standard that I feel like we're starting to expect from the Japanese representatives at international events. Like, I'm starting to expect Japan to do well, relatively compared to expectations. So I will be interested to see what they do and how they look against RNG. But, we'll see how that goes. For you guys, thoughts on DFM, especially with that new data of 3-1 over Brazil. How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's a really nice way to accelerate into a wall that is RNG.
The Great Chinese Wall, if you will.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
There you go.
That was good.
Yeah. All right, let's skip over EG, and we'll touch on them last, just to hit the NA team last. Fnatic, tops of the group. Only dropped to Loud, interestingly enough. Curly repping the jersey right behind us. Fnatic 4-1, automatically heading into groups. They will end up either joining Group D or Group A. TBD on that one. DRX, by the way, joining Group C. Spicy group, actually. Will be very interesting to see that. But Fnatic, they were interesting because day one, They go 2-0 with their sub in Rux.
And looked great with Rux.
And looked great. And then Hillsong comes in, and they don't look as good. But they still managed to go 4-1. Unironically, free Rux. Please someone sign him to an LEC team. I think he just demonstrated that he has what it takes and has been for a while. Let's get that Portuguese brother
presentation
on the LEC stage. It's
definitely bring him up.
But
I will say this.
I mean, I think Fnatic does deserve to be in main stage groups for sure. I feel like they showed that this weekend.
What they really showed is that apparently scrims don't matter.
Scrims do not matter. Yeah.
Don't do scrims. Casually win first place. Make the other 3 teams duke it out for the rest of the seeding.
Yep. Basically.
But I also learned that I need to take curse lessons from Shocks because I only apparently was able to do it once. I need to figure out how to have 100% effectiveness. So if someone
get a monologue.
A monologue.
You gotta have a monologue.
Need a curly monologue.
Okay,
That's gonna be the trick.
Okay, next time. So if let's see who they're probably gonna end up in group 1. So if they have to have a tiebreaker against Cloud9 or anything like that, I got you. I'll prep a monologue. Don't worry.
Get the script ready.
Yeah, presuming RNG wins tomorrow, Fnatic will end up in group A, which would be spicy. Yeah, boy. Not to get too ahead of ourselves. Groups look so rough for NA. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's going to be so painful.
C9's our only hope. Sorry, 100 Talk, if you're still here. I said it last week. I'm going to double down on it. That being said, C9 or 100 Thieves last year did take a dub off of the tournament winners, and I learned that while I was making my hype video for them. So maybe they can channel that energy again.
Who knows?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, and then let's hit EG. So they kind of scraped things out. 3-2. They lost to Fnatic day 1, then won 3 in a row against Loud, Beyond, and Chiefs, and then lost to DFM. In tiebreakers, they end up beating DFM and Loud back-to-back, and now, tomorrow, this is a good segue, I guess, into talking about this. They will play Mad Lions for one of the 2 final groups spots. Thoughts on EG's performance? Now, I'll just start by saying, for me, knowing that Danny wasn't playing, I still expected, and I still actually expect this team to make it to groups. However, I had lowered my expectations for what they will do in groups and, lowered, the amount of shock I would have if they didn't make it out of play-ins. So, Cowrie has been doing fairly well, but, it's still, he doesn't have the, 2 splits of practice with the team. I think there is, some mechanical difference between him and Danny. However, I was impressed by their ability to take, the back-to-back wins over Loud and DFM. And I feel relatively good about them against Mad Lions. So I want to know how you guys feel about it, and I think this is the time that we can start really diving into, all right, are we impressed with EG's performance so far? Not impressed? I mean, technically they went 5-2 in play-ins, right, so far, which is pretty good. And now they've got this all-important best-of-5 tomorrow. So where are you guys at on this? How are you feeling about EG? Nox, maybe you can start us off.
I guess we'll get the pessimism out of the way. But historically, North America's record against Europe is not that good. The last 2 best-of-5s, which have been ages, by the way, hint to Riot, fix your format. Basically, 2019 MSI Team Liquid versus G2 got 0-3 swept, and I think one of the fastest series ever in international competition. And then back in 2018, when Cloud9 ran into Fnatic in the semifinals of Worlds and also promptly got swept 3-0. I don't even remember what the previous best of 5 before that was, but I don't have any reason to believe that anything's changed since then. EG's gameplay has not been overly convincing for me. I mean, I understand that in the games that they've beaten teams in the group stage, they've looked very, very good for the most part. But even then, there's been games where they've been struggling, and they also lost to Fnatic, and they did not look pretty. I'm just not all that convinced. However, you look at Mad Lions, and the teams they did beat, they beat rather convincingly, and then I think their losses to DRX and RNG, while not the best, were not really all that bad, especially when you consider what RNG and DRX are in terms of quality. So I'm going Mad Lions on this. I don't have NA Hopium right now.
All right, interesting. Curly, how are you feeling?
I mean, for me, what I saw in Plains is the same thing I've seen in every other, I would call it new tournament they've had. Because in spring, they start out a little rough, and then they pick their shit back up, right? In MSI, they start out a little rough, but then they pick their shit back up. Yesterday, it was a bit rocky, but then by the end of it, they were unstoppable. And so hopefully that channels itself into tomorrow. I really, really do think Jojo he's feeling the pressure, and it's motivating him to play better. He still has some overextensive moments, like that Akali gameplay. And like yesterday, some of his Akali moves, while they were hype moments, didn't pay off all that much. So I do want him to pump the brakes a little bit on that side. But I think right now things look very top side in terms of like how you want to win. Like it's been primarily through top, mid, and jungle that I've seen a lot of victories come through. Bot lane is just there to not screw up. And so if Inspired and JoJo or Inspired and Impact play to their strengths against their respective opponents like they did yesterday, I think tomorrow should be in EG's favor. I do think it's going to be all the way to Game 5 because I think that both teams have shown that they can excel, but then also lose leads. And so it's kind of an interesting matchup because I feel like they're pretty similar teams in the way that they play the game, because also Elyoya playing out of his mind is just as powerful as Inspired playing out of his mind. You know? So I think tomorrow, no matter what the results, I think tomorrow's going to be some fun games.
Oh yeah, absolutely will be some fantastic matchups. Do you guys have series score predictions by any chance?
3-2 for EG.
3-1 for Mad.
Oh boy. Alrighty. Well, it's gonna be tight.
You're the tiebreaker, Sandy. What's your pick?
Oh boy. Oh my gosh. You're asking me to pick live on air. I'm literally staring down the pick'ems right now. You know, and it says Mad Lions. What's the percentage here? 77.7% picked. Evil Geniuses, 22.2%.
Interesting. So I only have 20 responses so far on my pick'ems, but I've got 25% Mad Lions 3-2 Evil Geniuses, 25% Evil Geniuses 3. Hold on, it just updated.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. 25, 23.5, 23.5, 23.5. Mad Lions 3-2 Evil Geniuses, Evil Geniuses 3-2 Mad, Evil Geniuses 3-1 Mad, and there's 17.6 Mad Lions 3-1 Evil Geniuses, and then 11.8% is Evil Geniuses 3-0 Mad. So it's very split, at least in my pick'ems.
I know what my heart says. It's EG. I know what my brain says. It's Mad. Look, I'm here to win these pick'ems.
Does anyone know what Twitter says?
I'm here to get these. I'm here to get these points. I'm here to take down this leaderboard. I gotta go with the popular call. It's gonna be Mad. 3-1 is what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I think they looked better in their games and their losses than EG did in their games and losses. So that is how I am leaning. Quick thoughts, unless you guys have any final thoughts on Mad EG. I feel like I'm going to guess we all have RNG in a 3-0 tomorrow as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I've got one singular person in the Pick'ems who's picked a Detonation Focus Me 3-2 win. Which I don't know who that individual is, but
well,
I'm not gonna call him out either.
Hey, it is what it is. All right, so let's say things go as expected. RNG slots into that Group D, and we've got Mad and Fnatic. That makes it real interesting, because, well, hang on.
I do believe Mad is going to be slotted into Group B
with G2.
Yeah, because the no E double rule is suspended in this case because it's like literally impossible to avoid.
It actually is. Yeah, if Mad and RNG win, you have to put RNG in Group D, and then Mad and Fnatic go into Groups A or B, which is... Yeah, you have to have 2 in Group B, which is tough.
Yep, so...
And then watch neither EU team makes it out.
I feel like... I feel like Fnatic would get Group A because technically they're the first team out of the play-ins, and then Group B would get Mad Lions.
I think that's the case because I also think they're probably pre-sorting it under the assumption that maybe EG does win, in which case that would be the best slot for the winner of the best of 5 to go in anyway.
Yeah. All right, so just looking ahead to groups then. What matchups are you guys most interested in? Maybe pick one group that you're really going to be honed in on, and one team that you're going to be paying special attention to as groups kick off. I promise not to pick DRX. I will pick a different team.
I mean, I'll go first because it's going to be one and the same answer for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching Group A and C9 very, very, very closely. Because something I've talked about elsewhere is when I was making the NA hype video, when I was first laying the groundwork, I was like, oh shoot, I got to make sure this isn't just the C9 hype video. Because when I was looking at the histories, particularly with Jensen and Blabber's journeys with C9 and the victories and failures they've had together, and how they were on the team when they last made it to semifinals, even though I think Blabber was a sub ? I don't know the full details. But like, just there's a lot of history here surrounding C9 and Jensen, and I think they looked really, really good at the end of Summer Split, like with that clean 3-0 at finals. And so seeing such a hyped up team with a lot of history and something to prove, and then as Arkham is talking in the chat, T1 Trainee's facing off. I can't wait to see Gumayusi versus Berserker. It's going to be so exciting.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I think for me, like, it used to be that C9 was someone I wouldn't root for much, but after like learning more about how they've consistently been our best performing team internationally, they make it the farthest year after year after year after year. I've got all of my chips in C9 being able to kick out either EDG or T1 and whoever that fourth seed is and making it to the knockout stage. But Group A is looking spicy to begin with no matter what. And then if you throw Fnatic, who is scrimless, I mean, now they have the play-in stage, obviously. But like, if you throw Fnatic in after all that, seeing upset thrown in the mix, dude. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. For sure.
It's just such a spicy group, so it's got to be the most entertaining and probably the most deadly. Yeah.
Totally. Nox, how about you? What what group are you looking at, and what team are you looking at?
For me, I'm looking at Group C, partially because I'm predicting Top Esports to win the whole tournament. Along with this, DRX has been looking very hot. and then you have the number 1 seed, and then I'm always a VCS fanboy, and I think Gigabyte Marines is very good. So I think this group itself is probably the closest group in terms of all 4 teams being like within relative distance of each other. That being said, if I had to pick one specific team, I think I'll probably go with Pop, just because I don't really trust them. And if you guys remember how last year went for me when I said I didn't trust the team, they ended up winning the freaking world championship.
So really, you crystal balled Top Esports and you're cursing it now.
Yes, I did actually. I predicted Top Esports, and I've been saying since even before LPL playoffs even finishes, I don't trust Top. They don't look like they deserve to be where they are, and they're going to flop. And so, since they've made it this far, I'm sending it. They're going to win all of Worlds.
You scoundrel. This is... Never become a caster, because you will be hated more than Raz and his flip-floppiness.
There you go.
So, you call it hedging your bets, because it is hedging my bets, but I will say at least I have a history for the reason of why I am hedging my bets on this particular case.
Totally. All right, so for me, I was going to say Group C.
Sorry.
It's all good. I'm actually really intrigued by Rogue. They have consistently failed at Worlds time and time again. They've been put into tough groups.
But they never had the LEC championship.
Yeah. I feel like they're actually in a group that they can do well in. I think that DRX, yes, they looked hot. But, RNG had not looked very hot, coming into the tournament. They had, they had several cupcake teams to beat in their play-ins group. I think Rogue should be able to beat DRX. I think they should be able to beat Gigabyte Marines. So I really would like to see Rogue make a push to get out of groups. So that's my team. Group B, though, is such a spicy group for me. You got G2 versus Damwon, so you got 2 games of that rivalry. You've got JDG, who, in my crystal ball, I called JDG as the winner. I think that they have a real good shot at taking it this year. And, if it does end up being Mad Lions in that group, or, conversely, Evil Geniuses, you've got a really interesting group on your hands. And I think you could tell me any combination of teams gets out of that group, and I wouldn't be surprised. You could tell me it's JD Gaming and Mad. You could tell me it's Damwon and G2. You could tell me G2 and Mad get out, and I'd be like, yeah, I can see it. So I think Group B is fascinating to me, and I'm really looking forward to it. Well, that is what we're looking forward to in groups. Those start on the 7th. So that is
Friday.
Friday.
No. It is Friday.
That starts Friday. They go through the 16th. We will be back next Monday night, assuming nothing crazy occurs by then. I think we will be having group stage games going on again, so we'll figure out what we do that evening. But that is all that we've got. Do you guys have any final things you want to hit on before we close out the show?
Honestly, play-in stage is probably my favorite part of Worlds. Like, groups is cool and all.
It's super
but
fun.
until they change this format, like, I love play-ins. Play-ins is just so exciting to watch. There's so many different matchups you get. You get, like, the seeding actually matters. You get teams who do get eliminated if you don't perform. You get teams who are rewarded if you do perform. And then if you're right in the middle, you have very intense, like, these matter best of 5s. And, I mean, look at the games today. Like, 2-3-1s, right? Like, still super exciting. Mm-hmm. It was awesome to watch, and it's not matchups that you see every day. So for me, I love everything about play-ins. It's probably my favorite portion. So now that it's ending tomorrow, I'll probably be a little sad, but at the same time, I'm still excited and looking forward to groups and knockouts.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Curly, how about you?
I mean, quick touch on Smash Bros. I do believe we had Kadoran compete this weekend at what is it called? Lost Tech City.
He did.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
actually
yeah.
didn't see how he did.
He did. I'm looking at it. He did place 9th.
Okay.
So kind of it's looking like middle of the pack. So definitely not the run that I'm sure he was hoping for, but we've seen him bounce back from low performances before. So I'm hoping that in the next tournament he's able to just, not get up in his head about this and just. He's shown that he can punch up because didn't he have to do semifinals against J-Mook way back when, like 2 months ago?
Yeah, pretty.
So
Something like that, yeah.
He's shown he can do it, and so I believe in him. I believe in him a lot. And then also, the reason I bring up Smash is because due to a little bit of snooping, I do hear that FlyQuest has something in the works for them. I don't know what exactly, but keep an eye out for some hype stuff around them. But back to Worlds. Just one last night. This might be the only time for the next 5 years you'll hear me hype up C9 and specifically Jensen, but I really am going to be rooting for them a lot. I really want to see this team succeed because Jensen has been trying hard and Blabber has been trying hard and Fudge, I think he still has to prove himself. A lot of people don't like his shit talking at the end of the season, so if he proves himself internationally, that's going to be really good. Berserker being able to face his old org that just kept him trapped in the academy. And then Sven proving that he's going to be tested, all right, is he someone who can only just sit back and let his team win in NA, or is he going to be able to be a difference maker at those crucial moments on the international stage? So I'm really, really hoping to see the best from these guys. And then the rest of NA, of course, but as I've already stated, they are kind of where all my chips are. So, yeah.
There you go. Not much for me. I love this meta. I think it's pretty fun. We've seen a lot of different picks.
And Aatrox 100%.
And 100% Aatrox. I had Aatrox. It's one of my crystal picks. So, but that is all we've got. So, thank you, everyone, for tuning into this quick episode of Flight Check. Worlds continues tomorrow. 2 more best of 5s, Mad EG and RNG DFM. Groups starts Friday. And that is basically all afternoon and all night. So be sure to follow your boys on Twitter. The show at Flight Check Crew, myself at SantosDB, Nox at Noxwar with 2 R's, and Curly at Curly_QQ_. Make sure to hop into the Flight Check Discord as well, where all kinds of spoiler-free discussion is taking place of the games. I did post in our League Chat channel a link to the LOL Esports Pick'ems leaderboard that I created for Flight Check folks to join in and compete with each other with their picks. If you missed any part of this episode, the VOD will be up on YouTube tonight or tomorrow morning. If you're watching this, that VOD, and would like to catch the show live, things are a little weird with Worlds right now, but usually we're on every Monday night here at twitch.tv/FlightCheckCrew. It was at 8 p.m. all summer. Who knows what time it's going to be at for the rest of Worlds because the schedule is so funky. But we will be on Twitter. That's why you got to follow us on Twitter, letting you know what to expect. Nox, any quick plugs before we wrap up?
One of you guys get 100 Talk Pod, but Diamond is currently streaming Champs Q and is in a match with some pretty big names as I'm looking it up really quick because I want to shout out. He's got Impact, Junja, EDG's Junja, Soligo, Masu, so his side kind of but he's got Genji's Doran, CLG's Rosethorn, CFO Mission, CFO Shun, and JDG's Missing. It's pretty good matchup going on right now if you want to tune into that. And I think he's going to be streaming some more games later in the night too. So go watch his stream, go support him, all that good stuff.
Curly, how about you?
My big thing is I want to just like shout out the community, like for OE, for Flight Check for everyone, because the NA hype video got way bigger than I thought it would. It's peaked. I think it's capped off at like at about 3K viewers, which I was thinking, wow, maybe like it might match the FlyQuest vid where it gets 500 after like a couple of days. And so this is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. So like I really am happy with like it's very humbling and encouraging with the response for that. And so I hope you guys liked it. It was really, really, really fun to make. And thank you again, guys. So shout out to you guys like who are watching.
Totally. For myself, yeah, please go watch 100 Talk Pod. They'll be starting their show in 9 minutes, I believe. So that'll be super dope. And, of course, they'll have a lot of good thoughts. Looks like they're talking about the meta, why they will always hate EU, and they're going to talk about games that have nothing to do with 100 Thieves. So be sure to stop on over there. Oh, one more shout-out from me. Shout out to Alan Robinson for doing absolutely nothing tonight, as I expected, and allowing me to claim an upset victory in my fantasy football league. So, let's go. San Francisco 49ers, keep up the great defense tonight. No catches for Mr. Robinson. That is all from us. We'll be back next week sometime to discuss how first half of groups went and preview the second half of groups. So for now, I'll just say, stay safe out there. Don't forget to hit the head on the nail, and we'll see you and all your cats very, very soon. Adios, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace, y'all.